Hello guys, it is me again, it's HorrorFan34, and welcome back to another review. This will be the final review. Like I said before, I said in my review of Hannibal, this will be the last review of the Hannibal Lector series of reviews I'll be doing. Because like I said before, I'm only going from Manhunter to Red Dragon. So of course, the last review is going to be on, of course, by the title, Red Dragon. Now, Red Dragon came out in 2002 because Hannibal was a big hit at the box office. So this came out a year later, this time directed by Brett Ratner. Fantastic cast. Anthony Hopkins once again reprising his role as Hannibal Lecter. You also have Edward Norton as Will Graham. You have Ray Fiennes as Francis Dollarhide. Harvey Keitel as the Jack Crawford character. You have Emily Watson, Mary Louise Parker, and you also have Philip Seymour Hoffman as the journalist character. Now, Red Dragon, basically what it is this. It's pretty much this movie. So this is like I'm saying, this is going to be a very interesting review for Red Dragon, because when I think of Red Dragon, I just immediately go back to Manhunter, because I don't mind Red Dragon. This is not a rant. I like Red Dragon, but at the same time, though, I just rather go watch this Manhunter, because they're based on the same novel, Red Dragon, by Thomas Harris. But like, it's basically the same story as Manhunter, where the Will Graham character gets brought back into the FBI to track down Francis Dollarhide by his superior, and from there, Will Graham's trying to find the killer, and it's basically the same. It's the same plot as Manhunter. But getting onto the cast, this cast is really good. Anthony Hopkins is really good. Edward Norton's really good as Will Graham. I like Ray Fiennes is pretty good as Francis Dollarhide. Philip Seymour Hoffman's really good as the journalist. Harvey Keitel's great as the Jack Crawford character. Mary Louise Parker and Emily Watson are pretty good as well. But at the same time, though, going back to Red Dragon, thinking of Red Dragon just makes me want to go watch Manhunter. Because there's things about this film this film, like, this, like I'm saying, it's really interesting for me to. This is like an interesting review for Red Dragon, because it's like I'm reviewing Manhunter Part 2. That's basically how it's feeling right now. But like, I think everything in Manhunter was done better. I mean, nothing against like this cast, but I think William Peterson did a better job as Will Graham. I mean, I like Tom Noonan way better as Francis Dollarhide. I mean, the Will Graham character in this is not bad. I like Edward Norton, but I think William Peterson's character had much more of a personality. He had much more of a presence. like in Red Dragon, I mentioned in the Manhunter review in Red Dragon, where the scene where the journalist confronts Will Graham. In Red Dragon, Edward Norton just shoves Philip Seymour Hoffman, while in Manhunter, William Peterson takes Stephen Lang, flips him over, and makes him land on a car, and his leg goes through the windshield and breaks it. I don't know, it just seems like it gave that more character. William Peterson's character had much more of a presence to him, and all that stuff. And on top of that too, Ray Fiennes does a good job as the killer, but I mean, when you look at Ray Fiennes right here, try to get a close up right there. That's Ray Fiennes right there as Francis Dollarhide. Look at Tom Noonan. Like, that's creepy. That's creepy as heck. I mean, compare the two. Like, he just looks like a normal guy. Like, that's creepy as heck right there in the middle. You know, nothing against Ray Fiennes, though, as Francis Dollarhide. I think he's really good, but I just feel like Tom Noonan was much more menacing. He was more intimidating. He was much more creepier and all that stuff. And this film has a little bit of a weird thing with this because this is a prequel to The Silence of the Lambs, because the last scene in this movie is someone saying to Hannibal Lecter, "Hey, Lecter, there's this girl that wants to talk to you." And he's like, "What's her name?" And of course that's Clarice Starling. And this thing, it's kind of weird for this being a prequel to The Silence of the Lambs, because Anthony Hopkins' character is much older in this. And considering this is before Silence of the Lambs, it's kind of like a weird continuity thing, because he looks much older in this compared to 1991 when in Silence of the Lambs. So it's kind of weird for this being a prequel to that. I always found that was a weird thing. And on top of that too, the reason why I like the Will Graham character better in Manhunter, because I should have mentioned this in the Manhunter review, I feel like William Peterson's Will Graham kind of figured out more stuff on his own, because it's about him, as the title, Manhunter. He kind of figures out more of the stuff himself, while Edward Norton in Red Dragon always seems to go back to Hannibal Lecter. Like, I gotta go back to Anthony Hopkins. I gotta keep going back to him. But the Will Graham character in Manhunter kind of figures everything out on his own, and I like that better, in my opinion. And on top of that too, it really does seem like in Red Dragon, this is more like Hannibal Lecter's movie than the Will Graham character. That's why I prefer Manhunter, because Hannibal Lecter is in Manhunter, but he's only in it for a little bit. Because it's about Will Graham's character, hence the title Manhunter. It's about him. It's about his journey trying to find the killer. While here, it's kind of like, well, Anthony Hopkins is really, really popular, but Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal, and you gotta get these two together and get more Anthony Hopkins in there. I mean, look at, and even his face is on the poster. He has more of a cover on this DVD than Edward Norton. Edward Norton's all the way down here, so. Like I said, I don't hate Red Dragon. I like Red Dragon, but everything about Red Dragon just kind of makes me go back to want to watch Manhunter. I think Manhunter has more of a style. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the style in this film, but I feel like Manhunter though had much more of a style. Had a much more creepier atmosphere. I like the music a lot better, and on top of that too, I said this in the Manhunter review. The way that this film opens is when Anthony Hopkins is in like an opera and he's having a party. But when you watch Manhunter, it opens with a POV shot of a flashlight going through a house. The flashlight goes over this way, and you see all these kids sleeping in bed. Then the flashlight turns on this woman, and she slowly realizes, oh my god, someone's in the house in slow-mo. The camera freezes, and it cuts to the title, Manhunter, with this creepy music. I think that's a far better opening. It's much more creepier. It has a much more gritty atmosphere. I didn't really get much of an atmosphere out of this movie. But like I said before, I don't mind Red Dragon. I think it's competently made by Brett Ratner, but Brett Ratner is not Michael Mann. I mean, Michael Mann, you can tell Michael Mann directed the heck out of Manhunter. You know, with the characters and the style, the atmosphere. I just think Michael Mann did a far better job. I mean, I think I like Michael Mann better as a director. Collateral, Heat, The Keep, The Insider, Thief, so many other ones. Ali. I mean, I like Michael, but Brett Ratner. I don't mind some of Brett Ratner's films like Rush Hour 1 and 2 and things like that. But if I had to choose, I'd choose Michael Mann. But like I said before, I don't mind Red Dragon. But at the same time, though, I don't really watch this film that much because it just makes me think of Manhunter. And I'd rather go watch Manhunter, because Manhunter is a film that I've seen the most. I love Manhunter a lot, and I've seen that film so many times. I like the cast better. I think it has a better musical score. I like the atmosphere better. I think it's directed better. I think it flowed better, too. And I like that it was more about the Will Graham character, because it is about him. But like I said before, I don't mind Red Dragon. I just don't really care to watch it that much. So That's all I'm going to really say about Red Dragon. It's not a rant. I mean, I don't mind Red Dragon. I like the cast in this. But I just prefer Manhunter. And of course, once again, this is a Universal Series Collector's Edition, when Universal used to give Collector's Edition to a lot of movies. Has a commentary with the director, making ofs, many other ones, there's many other features. But that's Red Dragon. So that is it for my review of Red Dragon, and that wraps up my Hannibal Lector series of reviews, and thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Alright guys, take care.